Hey yo, what's poppin'? Man, hope you guys have been doing good. I've been doing great. So, I took these trades recently. I've been trying to trade a little bit more this year. Last year was a bit different. I mean, my trading frequency is going to go up and down depending on if I have a fight next or whatever. So, I got to train for that. But right now, I still have a little bit of time until the end of January to make some videos, to make some trades as well. Because intensive training starts more towards February, so that's why I'm trying to get out as much content and make as many trades as possible, quality trades as possible right now. So with today's video, we're going to break down how I took this entry. It doesn't have to be exact. The better entry would have actually been up here, which I missed, but we're going to talk about how we could have gotten that better entry, why I was even looking at this area anyway, and I'm just going to basically run you guys through the entire ideology of why I took a sell, where I took a sell. Right, so I took a sell in that area right here. Why did I take a sell there? That's going to be the question for today's video. Okay, so first of all, let me answer your question quickly. Right, simple with the storyline. The reason I took a sell in this area, which we will mark right now actually in just a second, is because we are in a weekly bearish storyline. So what's the storyline breakdown at the moment? Right now in price, what's happening? We have a monthly that's bullish still. We have not done any monthly reject, monthly, weekly bearish breakout. No, we're still monthly bullish, but our weekly has turned bearish. Why and when? So our weekly turned bearish right here. We have a weekly reject weekly, and on our daily time frame, so this is the weekly reject weekly that has happened, and our daily time frame, we have ourselves the breakout right here. This candle was an incredibly this candle was an incredibly important candle because it is going to be, or it was imperative to the following day's movements and what I would be expecting from the markets in the near future. So with this candle closing below this piece of support on daily, I found out that, okay, we have ourselves a weekly bearish storyline. We had ourselves a weekly reject weekly, and all I was waiting for was for this structure on the daily right here to get broken. Once the candle closed below, okay, it's broken, so what do we have? Weekly reject weekly, daily bearish breakout, boom, we're in a weekly bearish storyline. Okay, the moment we're in a weekly bearish storyline, guys, what do we have to pay attention to? We simply have to pay attention to daily resistances for sells, weekly resistances for sells, and daily supports for counter trend opportunities. Me personally, right now, I'm a scalper. I focus a lot on scalping. I do still trade. I do still take occasional swing trades. All right. But as I said, most of the time, most of my trading is focused on scalping because every single day you can get about 2 trades every single day. Not all the time, but maybe out of, let's assume, out of 2 months, which would be 4 trading weeks each month. So that's 8 trading weeks. Let's assume that, right? Or 8 trading days, excuse me. Let's just assume that you're trading. What am I saying, bro? You get 8 trading weeks in the 2 months. Excuse me, okay? Within those 8 trading weeks, let's assume you're trading like 4 days a week or whatever. Each of those 4 days, you're getting like 1 trade a day, 2 trades a day. Maybe, okay, one of the days it doesn't look clean. Maybe you take a loss. Maybe it's a break even. It's just a weird looking trade, whatever. But you're getting on average like 1 trade per day. Worst case, 1 trade in 2 days, which is perfectly fine. Guys, all you need is 1 trade in a week and you're pretty much set. Once you get a big account, all you really need is 1 trade in a month and you're set, bro. Trust it's true. You need 1 quality setup a month on a big funded or your own personally funded account and you're set up. So anyway, let's get into how I took this trade. So we understood that weekly is in a bearish storyline. However, I also did understand that price made its way into this weekly support. Now it hasn't rejected it just yet, so we'll get into that in a second. But I understood 2 things. I understood where we came from. So I understood that we came from this weekly reject weekly. The daily bearish breakout over here confirms the weekly bearish storyline. And then we made our way into a weekly and daily MTF for buys, right? This does not matter too much when you understand that we're in a weekly bearish storyline. Because we're in a weekly bearish storyline, I'm going to be paying attention to the daily left shoulders or resistances, in this case in the SPR for sells. So I have so many options, guys. People were asking me whether this is a valid or this was a valid left shoulder. Absolutely, this is a valid left shoulder. So is this one. This is a valid SBR, support that turned resistance. This is also a resistance, this open close right here. And of course, right here is a resistance too. Which one do I take? Guys, it's so simple. Avi, there's so many options. Which one do I take? All I do is wait for my daily reject daily and then I wait for my setup. That's it. Okay? So if I were to take a look at this, in terms of this trade today, How did I take it? Because there was no daily reject daily. This was not today, this was yesterday. There was no daily reject daily. How could I have taken this trade? Well, I understood that we're in a weekly bearish storyline, so I can take a trade from any one of the dailies. And of course, it just so happened to be this one, or this one, or this one. I had so many options, so all I did was just pick two. Remember guys, go back to the basics. When you have so many opportunities to trade, when you have so many zones to manage, just pick two. That's it, right? So I just picked two. In this case, I picked around, well, arguably two or three. I picked this entire area right here. We have the resistance of the left shoulder kind of open close kind of thing, and we have the SBR. It's just within this area I'm going to play about with it. So what I saw, I had myself the daily that was a support that got broken becomes a resistance. I don't really care too much. So this is my entire mentality, right? The only time I'm going to be paying attention to these two are if I have a daily reject daily of these two. And let's assume that the daily wick rejected and just sort of didn't go higher. It just rejected right here, just enough, and then it sold off. Then I'll pay attention to this, okay, because we have a daily reject daily of these two. Take a look if there's any H4. But otherwise, I'm going to pay attention to these two or these three zones up in here. And all I'm paying attention to is, of course, I'm refining it to the lower time frame. Because guys, you have to understand, I already know that I'm weekly bearish story. So I'm just going to refine it to the lower time frame, okay, and take a look at what's in that area. So I'm not going to use this zone because I'm trying to take a touch trade. I'm trying to take an immediate trade, an instant trade, right? Why am I trying to take an instant trade? Because I've already refined my zone. I've already filtered these two zones out of the equation. I remember, guys, I told you the only times I'm going to be paying attention to these two zones will be if there's a daily reject daily of these two zones. Otherwise, these are the zones that I'm going to actually attempt touch trades from or whatever like that. Okay, I can't be touch trading from every single zone. That's called gambling. Okay, you're not going to have a good win rate. So with these, all I'm doing, I've refined it to the H4. This is the bottom of the zone, this is the top of the zone, right? This was like a SBR on the daily. And I'm seeing over here, okay, we have ourselves this open close. So we can mark that out, right? I don't think price touched it. Doesn't matter. We're just marking these out. And then we're taking a look at what we have on the lower time frame. That's literally it. And then this is a H4. Oh, okay, so the H4 does touch. This is in hindsight, of course. And then we have the H1 that's lining up perfectly with our daily, right? Remember, guys, this is the daily, this pink box at the bottom. This is a daily SBR. This pink box at the very top, that's going to be your daily traditional resistance, correct? So we refine that. Boom, we have ourselves a H4. We refine that even more. We have ourselves a H1. So over here, what are some entry criteria? What are some things that you can use to lower your risk, if you will, right? You can definitely use trend lines. I'm not sure which trend line exactly works very well or whatever. It doesn't matter. Pick one, find one that lines up with the zone, right? See, even I am taking my time with it, no problem, right? So pick one that lines up with the zone pretty well, and that's going to be your guide. That's going to be your guide. That's going to be your confluence into entering at this area, right? Aside from that, what else can you do? Well, you can use some diverger kind of trend lines. I'm not sure whether this one worked yet. That one didn't work. No problem. Find something else. Maybe this. I think this is a bit too high. Okay, no problem. See, it was too high. So pick something. Find a confluence on the H4. It doesn't seem like there's anything on the H4. So we're just going to ignore the trend lines for now. If there aren't trend lines, take a look at some kill zone. So if I were to look at when price came into this area for me to take an entry, it came into this area at 9 p.m. Malaysian time. 9 p.m. Malaysian time is around 9 a.m. New York time, which for me here in Malaysia, if I'm not wrong, this is an ICT kill zone for when London overlaps into New York session. If I'm not wrong, London overlap into New York is around 7 p.m. Malaysian time, which is around 7 a.m. New York time. Okay, but basically around 9 p.m. is where the New York kill zone, roughly you're within that New York time, you're within the New York session, right? So that would be a great idea of how you can take an entry off of this area, right? If you're not confident in just entering straight away, you can use trend lines. If there are no clear trend lines to your eyes, you can use kill zones, right? If not, you can go down to the lower time frame, like I told you guys before. Some of you guys have figured this out. Head down to the lower time frame and take a look at some M5 breakouts. I don't know how you guys do it. You guys are the ones that brought this up to me, you know, M5s, and you can look at your M1s, you know, if you have like a breakout or whatever, SHBMS RTO, SMS BMS RTO, all these kinds of ICT methodologies, right? You guys can absolutely use them, right? There's nothing wrong with that, with using your ICT lower time frame confirmations, okay? So yeah, pretty much that would be how I entered, that would be how you would enter off of that trade. Okay, so what I want you guys to understand, right? I know you guys are all about, oh my gosh, my entries, right? But like I said, figure out, okay, what you can do with the lower time frame from ICT, from Inner Circle Trader, or from your Smart Money Concepts knowledge. Because otherwise, you can enter off of these areas purely. Trust me, when I first started out, I didn't know anything about, oh, I can use New York session and I can combine it with candlestick closures and I can use M5 breakouts or whatever. In fact, the M5 breakouts thing, that was a very new thing that was introduced to me, right? But when I first started out, I was taking trades exactly 100% accurately and exactly to how I'm teaching you guys right here, which is why it kind of pains me whenever I see people, oh, Avi, can you teach us lower time frames? Can you teach us lower time frames? I swear to God, right? I gained consistent success, right, in these markets purely doing what I'm teaching you guys right now. And I had access to less information that I'm giving you guys out, that I'm giving for you guys right now. I had beautiful trades, swear to God. I mean, why do I need to swear to God? Go and take a look at my, not Instagram, what do you call it? Telegram, right? Beautiful trades at, it's not, okay, there, a lot of people say, oh man, beautiful trades don't matter, you know, I want to see the profits, blah, blah. That's true, no problem, I agree with you. But the reason why I hype up beautiful trades is because it means that you've entered at the right area. All of these swing points, right? Guys, I've called swing points before. All of these swing points, oh my gosh, if you get an entry right here, wow, sniper trade. A lot of people say, oh, there's no value in that, you know, I can take an entry from halfway through here and I can make more than you. I'm sure you can, man. But the reason why taking trades at swing points or quote unquote sniper entries is very skillful, the reason why it's skillful is because of one reason. It's because you understood where the market was going to turn. That is a huge skill that you can have in your pocket. That is a huge weapon that you can keep in your arsenal. And in my opinion, after learning Smart Money Concepts, after learning regular SNR and Malaysian SNR, in my opinion, I believe there's nothing more powerful than the knowledge of Malaysian SNR and storyline confirmations or storyline knowledge, which helps you gain insight into these sniper trades. Because once you understand, okay, a lot of these turning points, a lot of these swing points are coming right? They're coming right at the, what do you call this? The body of the candles. Once you understand that, you're like, wow, I'm catching swing points left, right, and center. Now you're adding context to it. Okay, I'm adding storyline. That's going to add context. And now you're adding intricacies into it. Okay, operation of storyline, right? You're adding a lot of these methods of flexibility into your trading, which is super important, right? So this is how I operate, guys. And this is how I've operated. This is how I operate right now. All we're doing is figuring out the storyline first. Monthly bullish, weekly bearish. If weekly is bearish, what do I need to do? I need to take a look at sells from the daily time frame. Correct? All I need to do, take a look at sells from the daily time frame. We're weekly bearish. Then I figured out, okay, so I know I need to take sells from the weekly. I know I need to take sells from daily resistances. Excuse me. But which one? Now that's the next problem. Which one am I gonna take a sell from? We have like 5. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. Which one do I take? Okay, I'm gonna set a rule for myself which states when I have more than 2 or 3 zones, I'm only going to pick 2 that are of quality. And if those 2 fail, I'm not gonna attempt any more for the day until I see the rejection and the candle closure, and then I'm gonna attempt the setup for the next day. Once you understand that after candle closures you're literally given a setup, then you're never in a rush. If I were to take a trade right here and then take another trade here, and let's assume I've set a rule which states if I've taken trades, a sell from here and a sell from here, and they've both failed, I'm not gonna attempt to sell from the top. I'm going to wait for price to come, touch, do its business, and take the next day's trade off of that daily. Once I've understood that, I'm gaining so much more confidence in my ability, in the charts. I gain patience because I know that price isn't just going to touch this area and immediately sell off. The same way how price didn't touch this SBR and just boom, shoot down. No, that didn't happen. Right? It rejected. If you didn't get the trade like me, look over here. If you didn't get this trade, wow, look, so nice. If you didn't get this trade, guess what? You have an entry opportunity the next day. In fact, let's back test what happened today. In fact, I've also taken this trade today too. What happened today? We had a daily reject daily. So let's assume you didn't catch the trade I caught, right? Avi, I was waiting for daily reject daily. You taking trades so early, blah, blah, blah. Half of that comes from, what do you call this? Instinct and experience. The reason why I'm able to take touch trades like that comes from instinct and experience. It comes from chart time. But number two, let's assume you didn't take it. No problem. What could you have done? Daily reject daily. Go to your H4 to see what happened. Okay, I have myself H4 open close, and I also have H4 apex. Now I'm going to go to H1. I have myself a H1 left shoulder. No problem, let's do that. H1 left shoulder, open close, and yeah, H1, H4 roughly in the same area. Which one do I take, Avi? Oh my gosh. Use a trend line. Use your New York kill zone, whatever. See, that one doesn't line up. Okay, tough luck, bro. What you want to do about it? That one doesn't line up. It is what it is, right? Pick something else. Oops, what did I do? Right? Pick something else. Go and take a look at your lower time frames. Whatever you need to do, go ahead and do it. Right? Nothing lines up. Go to the H4. And I never even use trend lines, by the way, because you guys know I don't use trend lines, right? Whatever it is that you want to add as a confluence, go ahead and do it. If you don't want to add a confluence, like right now, I'm struggling to find a trend line. If you don't want to add a confluence, you just want to take trades straight away, no problem, but set your rules and stick by them. If your trade rules say, okay, we have two zones, left shoulder of H1 and open close of H4. And the next one I have is apex of H1, apex of H4. Okay, these are just two zones. So today I'm pretty lucky. I only have two options and I only have two trades that I'm going to take. Because you only have two options and only two trades you're going to take, that immediately lowers your risk. You can take a sell immediately from here, which you would have been stopped out on, right? 30 pips, boom, you would have been stopped out on this 30 pips, okay? Then you would have been able to take a second sell from right here for another 30 pip SL for 60 pips. So you lost 30 pips and now you've made 60 pips. So you've profited 30 pips. You see what I mean? You've lost 30 pips and then you've made 60 pips. Out of the 60 pips, 30 pips covers your loss and 30 pips you can keep in your pocket, right? And why do I have so much confidence in these two zones, especially this one zone at the top? Why do I have so much confidence in it? Because we have a daily reject daily, correct? This wick right here, daily reject daily. And then we have a H4 that's sold. This one over here, it's different from my broker and my IC markets. But anyway, if you're following Oanda, then it just sold. It gave us a setup. This is not a confirmation of a daily bearish storyline. Okay, at least on Oanda, it's not a confirmation of a daily bearish storyline. But this is a setup. Is it a valid setup? It's a valid setup. So if price comes up and bangs this out completely, then that setup's just not valid. That's it. I mean, what else do you want to do? Then the next area you're going to look at will be over here. Okay, can I take, okay, so let's say both of these got banged out, right? Let's assume both of these smashed to bits. Okay, fine, no problem. And let's assume your trade requirements for yourself in that day is for you to say, I'm only going to take two trades. I'm only going to take two. Let's say there's a setup today, daily reject daily, H4 new resistance. I'm only going to take two trades. From this one setup, I'm only going to take two trades. If both of them fail, I'm not going to touch the charts for the rest of the day. So then, right, so look, daily reject daily, H4 new resistance. Price comes up, touches this, oh no, stop loss. That's the first one gone. I only have one more left in the chamber. Second one lost. Oh man, it's lost. Let's assume that, right? It bangs through or whatever. That's it. I'm done for the entire day. All I'm doing then is marking these two zones and waiting for a daily reject daily. That's all I'm doing for the following day, of course. I'm waiting for this one to do a daily reject. It's not going to touch and immediately just shoot down unless there's news that almost never happens. Be patient. Guys, I'm telling you to be patient, and that's coming from a person who has had issues with being patient. You have to be patient. Price is not going to come up, touch this area, and just shoot down and completely avoid you. It's going to come in there, and if it's really going to reject, it's going to reject and close as a rejection. It's going to give you a H4, and a nice one, and you're going to be able to take it the next day. If not, you'll see it do some nonsense like this. Happens a lot, right? Wait for the rules to apply. Over here, you waited for the rules to apply. Yes, I agree. This first trade right here, this first trade was a little risky, but we're in weekly bearish storyline. So if it's not going to react off of this daily, it's going to react off of this one or this one. And if it breaks that, then clearly we're just not in a weekly bearish storyline anymore. Because if it breaks this, guess what? We're going to be in a weekly bullish storyline. Because it's broken a daily, and assuming the weekly does a weekly reject weekly, then we're not going to be in a weekly bearish anymore. We're going to be in a weekly bullish now. So these are your only attempts at taking a sell, assuming the weekly closes, of course, above this level, right? So don't confuse yourself. Very simple. This sell was taken based on a medium to, yeah, I would say it's a medium risk sell. Why? Because it's from a daily, and the daily makes sense for us to sell from because we're in a weekly bearish storyline, correct? And because we're in a weekly bearish storyline, we're looking at dailies. But there's so many dailies, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. We've filtered the 5, we've now made it 2 or 3. One sell here, maybe another sell here, and if it comes to the top one, it's stop losses, both of these. We're just going to wait for a daily reject daily. So that would have been your first one. Daily, refine to the H4, refine to the H1. Let's assume you missed this trade, or you didn't want to take this trade because you didn't have confidence, or you just want to wait for extra confirmation. No problem. Now you have the extra confirmation. We have the daily reject daily, and price has given us a H4 new. Price has given us a H4 new right here. And yes, we also do have an open close that we can attempt. So there are 2 attempts of this setup. Let's assume your criteria for trading is I only take, guys, I'm literally repeating myself for the 3rd time, by the way. Let's say your criteria is I'm only going to take 2 trades per setup. Let's assume price gives me a setup, right? Let's say in this entire week, price has given me 4 setups. Out of those 4 setups, it doesn't matter. Out of those 4 setups, each setup, I'm only going to take 2 zones within the setup. This is a setup, right? Daily reject daily H4. That's a setup. And there are 2 zones. I'm not going to take this one. I'm not going to take this one. There are only 2 zones. I mean, these are the 2 that really make sense, correct? If both of these get stopped out and they go higher, I'm going to wait for that daily reject daily. Because then, if price really wants to respect it, price is going to reject off of either one of these, daily reject daily, and give you a new H4. Okay? So that is how you would have done it. And so, yes, I did actually have another trade over here. Again, guys, I see a lot of you guys doing like lower time frame breakouts and stuff like that. Good for you. You know what I mean? Good for you, seriously. And yeah, that's good that you guys are taking the initiative to learn about some lower time frame stuff. And yeah, man, so that's pretty much it for this video. I hope you guys enjoyed. That's the reason behind me taking this sell trade. I'm sorry if the video has been a little bit here and there. It's just that these are like really basic stuff, so I'm not going over, oh, why is the monthly storyline bullish, why is the weekly storyline bullish. I'm getting right into the trade because I want to save as much time as possible and reiterate as many times and revise, you know, the rules of how I enter and how you would choose zones. Because I think if you aren't using other entry confirmations like ICT methods, you know, SHBMS RTO, SMS BMS RTO, raids into the order block or raids into the whatever, right? If you're not using any one of those, then you have to be very heavy on the amount of zones that you choose, because you can't be selling from every daily. You can't be selling from every H4 or H1. You have to pick and choose, right? The same way I thought you guys with premium and discount. Premium and discount helps you choose, correct? Premium and discount helps you choose quality zones, okay? And so that allows you to filter the zones that aren't very high quality, okay? So just like this, just like that, when it comes to a scalper's view of the markets, we're going to say, I can't be selling from here, 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 and here. That's too many times I may possibly end myself up or land myself in losses. I'm going to wait for a couple. I'm going to pick the highest ones that are logical. 1, 2, 3. And if these 2 get stopped out, I'm going to wait for a daily reject daily and play it the next day like that. See, you're setting, you already set everything up, so you can react immediately, right? And over here with this, so this is a very interesting one. Over here with this, all I'm waiting for, okay, is for a daily bullish storyline to start. You know, if it starts, then that goes against my weekly. I need to be careful about that, because not only does the daily not only does the daily bullish storyline start from here, it also could be in anticipation of the weekly starting bullish. So these are things that I've noticed. Okay, yeah, I'm selling. I'm very happy I'm selling, but just be careful, because we have tapped into a weekly. Just be careful. You see what I'm trying to say? So, yeah, man, that's pretty much it. I hope this video has helped you guys out. Even if there's one little thing, even if there's one detail in these videos that land for you guys, I'm very happy, right? I'm very happy. So anyway, like I said, the whole agenda for today's video was for me to break down this very simple trade. I hope I've done that, and I hope I've done that in a precise manner, and I hope I have elaborated on my position in the markets. Thank you guys so much for watching. Have a fantastic day. Peace out.